There we are. Okay. So I'm gonna hold on, guys. I'm gonna share this.
Daddy.
Where is it?
So, have you copied the new questions onto that Google Doc?
Yeah, it's there. It's just one question.
And just one question?
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's easy.
So it's pretty
I
easy.
saw the question, but I haven't been given access to the doc yet.
Yeah, what's his name?
I can just post my Gmail to that.
Yeah, just send an email. Just send an email, and then David will get access to it. You know.
Well, hey, give me your email. I can give you access right now.
Can you do that?
Okay. Yeah, my Gmail would be. Let's see, what's a good one? Just James Bradley, BRADLY.
BRADLY.
LY. Yeah, Ogden. OGDEN.
Okay.
At Gmail.
All right, I just sent you the email. You should be able to access it and edit it.
I didn't know you can do that, but that's good.
Yeah, there's that little share button.
In
the top of the screen on the Google Doc, and you just hit that, and you can type in anyone's emails.
I see. Okay, perfect.
And then you can like if you share the email, you can tell them whether they can edit it or just view it.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people use it for companies, so they'll send an email out saying, "Hey, here's a Google Doc, but it's for your eyes only. You can't touch it.
I see.
Change anything." So.
Perfect. So I don't know if James, I don't think you can see the agenda, the discussion agenda, but we just.
Yeah, I've got it up here.
Okay, perfect. So
I'm just looking at your screen.
Perfect. So let's just start with an opening prayer. And anybody want to offer it?
Don't put it down. Does it have to go up?
I'll do it.
Okay.
Dear the Father, grip for this wonderful day, and grip for how many blessings, and we ask that we will have the Spirit as we go over these topics of discussion, and we ask that we'll do that in faith and faith.
Amen. Thank you. Does anyone has a spiritual thought that it happened to any of you guys during the week? I think one of the things, that I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch conference, but it's just interesting to me to see all the changes happening, and one of the big changes that we had this past weekend is with the young man presences, and I was thinking about it because I shared this with you guys last week. I work with the young men, so when I was listening to those changes, I was like, you know what, I feel calm inside of me that that's what the Lord wanted to be, and it's good. So I think changes are good. Sometimes we don't want to see changes that are good, but I think in this case, when it comes to the gospel, changes can be pretty good for everybody. So anyways, that's what I was just thinking about. Okay, so let's go into the questions here. And then the first question is, we're going to vote. Should Maiden go for the Babies R Us opportunity? What do you guys think?
I think you should. That's what I put for my case prep.
Mm-hmm.
Or they, yeah. I can't remember.
Yeah, she.
Yeah, that she should. That was my vote.
Okay. What about you, Connor?
I'm looking back over my answer, and I said no just because there's too many issues. Timeline of repaying suppliers and manufacturers and I just don't think it's the best choice financially for her right now.
So I say no to, and the only reason why is because they didn't have the capital that they need to get all the orders ready to go. But that was the only reason. I think they do have a good product, and I think that it can be successful. But right now, I don't think it's a real chance for them to do it. Especially if they're gonna have a lot of orders and they're not gonna be able to meet that. That's where I was like, I don't think they should go. But James, why did you say yes to it?
I said yes because the exposure that they would get from selling at the major retailer for their industry would balance the risks. Because obviously, like you say, they didn't have the capital. In the case study, Madden wasn't even actually sure how much she would need. 1.2 million was just the number that she sort of came up with.
Are you there, James?
We didn't catch
got me?
that last 20 seconds of talking.
Sorry, what did you hear?
You were talking about she's had the number, the 1.2 number.
And
Yeah. So yeah, she had the 1.2 million was one that she sort of just came up with. It wasn't necessarily one with any data behind it. It seemed. It talked about how the angel investors that they currently have, for the most part, were hesitant to do another round of investing because they wanted to see some growth.
Yeah.
And I understand that and I get that, but I couldn't understand what was stopping them from going and seeking out other investors, especially now where they have this business model up and running with a plan. It didn't seem like it would be too hard to go out and find investors similar to the ones they currently have. It did say that the banks weren't very interested in it.
Yeah.
But that's why then you go to angel investors anyway. A lot of money in the world, and I don't think that should be a holdback on big risky decisions when it comes down to it. Because like I say, I think that the benefits of getting their product in a major retailer outweigh the risks of, or not outweigh, but balance out the risks of not having the right capital. Because if I were to approach an investor saying we've made a deal with Babies R Us, that's going to be a lot more appealing to an investor to say, oh yeah, this is going to work, and they'll go from there, I guess. So that was the main reason, was just the exposure for their product.
But I think in the beginning, if you guys can look at it right now, she was banking on 1.5 million, and that's what she initially targeted. And I do agree with you, James. I don't know where she got this number from, but I'm guessing she went over her statements and all that kind of stuff, and she's talking about just getting 2.2 from these investors. And yes, other investors, they didn't want to do it because they needed to see more information, how the company was doing and their products and all that kind of stuff. So that was my thing. That's why I say no. But I see your point, James. So
right, yeah, I like going after these cases afterwards. I like going and seeing what actually happened to the business. So I looked this one up, and it looks like they chose not to go with Babies R Us, and they went with their slower growth process.
Yes.
And as of June or July, I think, of this year, they officially closed their doors.
Oh.
I went on their website, and it doesn't exist anymore, basically.
Which is funny because Babies R Us did the same thing earlier this year too.
Right. Well, that's what I was thinking while I was reading it. I was like, well, even if they did go out of business this year, they would have gone out because Babies R Us. But even then, maybe they would have had enough traction to sell it at other retailers. The thing I was wondering was why they were exclusively going for Babies R Us and not going for ones like Walmart. I bought all of my kids' stuff from Walmart because it's so inexpensive, and I know it's a higher price point than what other products might sell for. But there are things in the same kind of arena of baby monitors. I know Motorola sells certain monitors for $200 or $300 at Walmart.
Yeah, they do.
And so Walmart wasn't out of the question. So that's kind of what my main question while I was doing the case was, why were they so committed to Babies R Us?
Well,
When was this case? When did she come and try and do all this? Was it early 2000s?
Yeah, I think it started 2009 or maybe 2011. I can't remember.
2013.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, 13.
So
2013, really?
Yeah, not long ago.
Huh? Yeah, because Walmart was getting pretty big back then. I mean, they were on their uphill back then, and Babies R Us, they've been around forever, but they were on their downhill.
Well, looking at the product, it kind of gives me that vibe of, I don't know, I am not the kind of parent that would buy something like that. I'm just not in. I'll buy the bare necessities and diapers and food and things like that. Otherwise, I'll just follow the parenting advice that has been going on for the last however millions of years of just take care of your kid. The high-tech baby solutions are not the kind of thing I personally go for. And so, I don't know. To me, it seems like the same kind of thing where it's like, oh, we're offering this high quality product at a high price. We're only going to sell it at certain places, not because it makes more fiscal sense, but because it's like a pride thing. And so that's kind of where I was wondering why they were doing Babies R Us as their major retailer. And I don't know. It was kind of, that was kind of the vibe I got.
And I think they were just doing that, James, because if you guys remember, they went to these, I don't know, convention center or something like that, and the only people who approached them was Babies R Us. So my guess is that as soon as Babies R Us approached them, they were like, you know what, this is a big company, we just stay with it. And I don't think they put the effort.
Kind of got tunnel vision on it.
Yeah, I don't think they put the effort to find other companies, like Walmart or any other company. So that's my guess. I don't know.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I mean, that makes sense. That makes sense for sure.
So by making this decision, how do you guys think this decision will affect the founders or the owners of the company by getting money from banks or investors? I think in the case she's talking about, this angel investor, the one who gave 1.2, he or she or they were gonna get 25% of the company to them.
Right. That's what I was talking about, was the equity, the salaries of the owners. Was they were gonna be getting less.
Exactly. So that's kind of a lot, though, if we think about it.
25%.
Right. Well,
that's a ton.
Well, that was something I was wondering too, because this is the first case where the investors are getting equity in the company rather than just lending money on interest.
Yes.
So again, I was confused why their angel investors were so fixated on getting equity rather than investing and making money on the interest,
Yeah.
That was another strange thing to me.
That's a good question. But don't a lot of companies do that, though? If they let you money, it's not banks, though, but investors, they want a little piece of your company.
Not all the time.
So
yeah, it goes both ways. Like I say, in the cases we've done before this one, it's the investors have literally just lent the money and made money on the interest. They haven't necessarily got equity in the company.
Yeah, a lot of people split between the two, pick one or the other usually.
Yeah.
I see.
I think it's because the angel investors they were going to were the kind of people that they also wanted to sell the product to. And so they were invested in the company more than just in, giving them money. They wanted to see it grow. And so they wanted to be a part of it, which maybe that kind of goes back to my original thing of they should have gone to Babies R Us, because then they could have found investors that were willing to just give them capital rather than take equity. And then they're not worrying about splitting salaries and things like that the case brings up. But it seemed like Madden was not as much of a, not as informed in kind of the entrepreneurship stuff as other case members or other case files have been.
Mhm.
It seemed like she had a really cool idea that she liked, but basically just, you know, went off of the general knowledge of how a startup works.
And then even if you guys remember, I think they did a phone call with 18 people, 18 families. And when I was reading that 18 families, that's not enough to put yourself out there, you know? And just
Right.
in my mind, you know?
No, yeah, it's way too small a sample size.
So if I were them, and I do agree with you, James, I think if I were them, I would research a little bit more, you know, with more people and see what they wanted in the product, you know? And then
What does the case say for like what their experience was, like business experience? Because I know they were engineers that were developing these products, but none of them had any real business experience, right?
Nope.
And that makes sense.
So, which, you know,
They left
it's
you, didn't they? Just not.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
like
you
Madden,
definitely see that.
like Madden graduate from a health degree kind of thing, you know. So
Right. Yeah, you can definitely see that in sort of how narrow their field of view, their decisions were, and kind of what they were missing out on
yeah. So
by not taking certain directions.
we kind of talk about this. If we increase the ABIAT sales, how did everything will change? You know, would it increase or decrease or remains the same? In my opinion, it would decrease. Because, you know, you're bringing in an investor, so their wages, they got to go down. So, but that's just my opinion.
I agree. I agree. I was having kind of a tough time following that because there was a lot of data, a lot of information.
Yes.
It was very engineer minded.
Yes.
Not so much business, and so it was kind of hard for me to follow all of it. But yeah, kind of the gist I got was I agreed with you. It would decrease.
Yep. So Connor, are you on the same page?
Yes.
Okay. So what kind of questions will you guys still have about this model on the business?
I don't know. I brought up most of my questions of like their experience and why they made the decisions they made.
Mm-hmm.
Are we talking specifically about their business model or?
Yeah, their business model. I think, and I talked to you about this before. You know, one of the things that drove me crazy when I was reading this is the amount of research that they did. You know, they only talked to these 18 people, 18 families. And
it sounded like they were friends too. Like they weren't.
Yes.
A random source of people.
That drove me crazy. You know, because I'm like, if I want to open a business, that's not something that I would do. You know, I would extend my research and do more research about the business and see if it's going to work or not. But just 18 people, I don't think that's enough, you know. So that was like, that was a little bit crazy to think about that.
Well, so, I was thinking the same thing. I'm one of my classes I'm taking this semester is my American government class, the political science one, and this week we're talking about public opinion and polls and things like that. And one of the things that it talked about was that the sample size for the nation is usually no less than 1,000 people to get a good sample size. And that's for the nation. She's wanting to sell a national worldwide product. Yeah, you're absolutely right. 18 people is nowhere near enough.
Yeah. So, and the next question is, and I don't know if you guys remember, one of the questions on the bottom of the case, it was talking about how can they make it to December to make it to have money into the month of December. And one of my answers that I gave them, it was, hold on, let me see.
Because their current projections say the money will make it till May or June. Is that what it was?
Yep. So I say they should decrease the wages by 20%, decrease the sales market budget by the second quarter of the year to 15,000, and after that, just look for savings around anything they can save on, but the main thing is the 20% decrease on the budget, on the wages, and decrease the budget by the second quarter by year $15,000. That's, and according to my math, it should be good until December, but like I say, I'm not expert on math, so
right,
what do you guys
that's
think?
like best case scenario as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. In all the other business classes we've taken, the first thing to go is owner's wages.
Yeah.
When it comes to budgeting, they spend a lot of effort worrying about owner wages and salaries and things like that, and that kind of tells me a couple of things. One is that they're inexperienced. Two, their heads are kind of in the wrong place as far as running the business and making sure that things are where they need to be. But yeah, I think the first thing would be to cut the wages. If it was to be my vote of taking the Babies R Us deal, I would say look for more investors. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of money in this country and a lot of people willing to invest. You just got to know who to ask. I think if they went out and put in some effort to find some more investors, they could have more than enough money for their product, and maybe they would have outlived Babies R Us.
Yeah, because I do think, that they have a really good product where families can use it and benefit from it, But I do agree with you, James. I think they could have done better finding these investors. And I know the case study says there were no more angel investors, something like that, But I'm thinking to myself now, I'm like, well, if they would have done their research a little bit better, and present that research to these companies, to these investors, I bet you they would get more money from these people. So, what do you think, Connor?
Well, I looked at the product and what they made. I think that they could have made it last. Because if you look now, there's a lot of those same kind of products out right now for babies. And so I think if they had, if they just got the right, I think their finances were all jacked up.
I see.
And if they had just figured out their finances, they could have succeeded. But I think they lacked very, very much on their finances.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It didn't seem like their heads were in the right place regarding their finances. Like I said, I mean, she pulled that 1.5 million just out of nowhere. I think the quote in the case said, I can't remember. It's a paragraph in there that said something that unsure of what specifically she neided. She decided on a figure of 1.5 million. I was like,
and I'm like, where the heck did you get that number from? Like they didn't budget out on how much it would cost to make the product. They didn't budget out on getting it out there, making it known. They just threw a number out and said, hey, we need this much.
Yeah.
They had a great idea or product idea, but they lacked in the accounting and in the finance department.
Perfect. Any more questions about this case study, guys? We're good?
I don't have any. I think I'm good.
Perfect. So we're going to go to these additional questions. And from these questions, that's where we got to answer our question, this question here. And it says, decide as a group, what would you do if given the opportunity to invest in any of these three strategies and attractive terms? Which would you choose and why? And I think my understanding is that we got to choose from these companies here, right? From the Dr. John's products, the Runaway, and the Dropbox, right?
Right now. Discuss what strategies. Oh no, let's see. What question are we on?
I'm sorry, what's up?
What?
I gave the card back to you, right?
Oh, hold on, babe. Yes. Which question were we on?
So we're on the additional questions now on the bottom, if you can see them. And I think these questions, James and Connor, are related to these questions here. Which
okay. Decide as a group what you would do. Okay. On attractive terms.
I feel like those questions don't coincide with that question we have to answer.
So because I go back to this case study that we did this week, and I'm like, what 3 opportunities? Because there's not.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, because those 3 opportunities, those just look like additional questions to this case study to answer.
Does it mean that we got to come up with our own plan, or what? I thought that it was related to these questions here.
Let's just go over those questions.
Okay.
Because we do know what they are, and if we come across an answer for that one. Because where did that question come from?
It comes from our group assignment. So right here.
Okay, that's right. Yeah.
That's the question that it came from. So.
Is it just that one question? There's nothing else in that?
That's the only one. So.
Huh.
I know. So anyway, so let's discuss the strategies we have seen that flatten or lengthen the cash flow curve. And it's talking about the Dr. John's products, the Runaway, and the Dropbox, as they describe it in the cases. Just make a rough guess as the shapes of each of these case flow curves.
Remind me which one Dr. John's was?
Dr. John's was the, let me see, go back to you.
Real quick, if we're just going off those 3 items, I think we come up with an answer pretty quick. I don't think we'll need to go through all 5 extra of those questions.
Oh, here. So this is the first week, huh? Yeah. So this is the one.
Oh, the spin brush. That's right.
Yes, that's right.
That one does still exist, actually. They sold to Arm & Hammer.
I did see that. And you know what? One of the things that I did like about this one, though, is that this guy, he was pretty smart. He was making a lot of businesses and found them and then sell them. And
right.
I think that's what he wanted to do. Make this business and sell it to any of the big businesses out there. So that's one of them. The other one was
the runway.
The Runaway, yep.
They rented the dresses and stuff.
Clothing.
Yes, rented and then all that kind of stuff. So, and then the last one
was Dropbox.
The Dropbox, and that was from. It was the person who made this, I don't know, software where you can get to your documents anywhere you are, So basically,
it's more used for like a company purpose, because I can put something in Dropbox and other people across the company can look at it.
Yep.
Right. So Dropbox is definitely the most successful of all of them.
Yeah, Dropbox is still used today by everyone.
Yeah, I use it every day.
So
I'm good. I mean, if we literally, so where's that one question we need to answer?
It's right here.
Flatten or
if I was given the opportunity to invest in any of them, I would do Dropbox.
Why?
Yeah.
I feel like out of the three,
Mhm.
Dropbox would be more successful because it gives you the ease of being able to have scanned documents in there and other documents that you put, whether it's from Word or Excel or whatever,
Mhm.
and being able to have access across a company-wide spectrum. Because I mean, you can't email over 25 megabytes. So if you're
Yeah,
if you-
something like
Yes,
that.
it's something else.
yeah, so if your Excel document is 26 megabytes, you're screwed. You can't email that to the rest of the company now. You have to find another way, and Dropbox was that way to get it across the company because you could upgrade your megabyte. Say, hey, I want the Pro. You can now send
Yeah.
400 megabytes.
But you know what? One of the things that I like about Dropbox, and I don't know if you guys remember back in the case, they were talking about charging the customer like different flat fees for different services. And I think that that's a good idea. You know, I mean, if you're a big business, then yes, you're gonna go with the most expensive one because you need more, you know, or more space or whatever they do. But if
Yeah.
you're like a normal student, you're gonna need the less expensive one. But I think that idea it's pretty good though because you get all kinds of customers coming into your business because they don't feel like they have to pay a bunch of money just to use their services. You know what I mean? So
The thing I liked about, sorry, go ahead, Connor.
I'm looking at Dropbox right now, and like if for an individual, if you get just a regular Dropbox Plus, you get 2,000. You get 2 terabytes of file room, and it doesn't matter what size the file is.
And how much is that one?
That one is $10 a month when billed yearly. Or you have the professional, which is 3 terabytes for $16 a month.
So I know in the case they found out that the free sample of the 2 gigs that they were giving everybody ended up being too much and people weren't upgrading.
Yep.
I know they haven't actually changed because they found that individuals, their initial market of individuals were not the people who ended up buying it. It ended up being businesses. And so they still ended up making a lot of money.
Well, and even then for businesses, I mean, you can get the team one.
Right. With all the extra features and stuff.
And the other one is $20.
Right.
And
the thing that I liked the most about the Dropbox case was that the guys were flexible. First was what you both said about it addressed a legitimate need. The dress one and the toothbrush one, like they were cool, but they were more they weren't really necessary.
The dress one definitely wasn't necessary. I mean, yeah, people need oral hygiene. Toothbrushes are great.
They're cool ideas, but neither of them was necessary. They didn't fill a need the way that Dropbox did. And then the other thing that I really liked was that, like I said, Dropbox was flexible. They recognized that their initial hypotheses were incorrect, and rather than just sticking to their initial guns and holding on to their pride, they were like, okay, so we need to change. We need to make some changes. We need to do this. We need to do that. Something that we obviously did not see the rest devices do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
so James,
if I was
you're in the Dropbox one too.
Yeah. Because if I was an investor and I saw these guys who knew that they didn't know everything and were willing to adapt, that's going to be much more impressive to me than anything else.
And it's like you say, James, I think Dropbox it's a little more flexible, than the other two. And that's what people like, like Connor was saying, all these fees every month, which, I mean, if you don't want to pay $16-20, you can just go with the $10.
Yeah, they got different levels. They got different needs.
Yep.
Right. Rather than sticking to their
aspect of the person for what they need.
Right. Rather than sticking to their initial business model because they felt like it was right, they said, oh no, the customer wants this, we need to make the change.
Yep.
So
Okay. So does everybody feel good about that then? So I can write the answer to the question and then send it in.
I'm good with Dropbox.
Very good. Okay, perfect. So I'll do that then. Anything else, guys? Any more questions that we have?
I don't think so. Do we need to go over the rest of those additional questions?
I don't think so. I think they were
We-
there
we
for
kinda-
reference
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we
because
kinda-
I don't know, the way I looked at it, it just said additional. It
Right.
didn't say we had to go over them.
Okay.
so
That's
I'm
just
good.
that's the way I
Okay.
look at it.
okay. So for next week, guys, who wants to be the lead student?
James, you've already done it, right?
I have not. I missed last week.
Who did it last week?
Dave.
David. Okay.
Yeah. Now I don't know why he's not here, but he's not here. So
I am
see.
forgot about this meeting. Good thing James sent the email because I about spaced it.
Yeah, I won't be able to be the lead next week.
uh-huh.
And I won't be able to do our regular meeting time because I'll be at work.
Okay. What did
So
you
if
do,
we
James?
can try to meet closer to 5. I'm a general manager at a production company.
Oh, okay. I see.
Production as in what?
Video and live AV.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So James, for you, a better time for you would be what?
Next week would be closer to 5 if we can. Otherwise, I might just have to miss it this time.
Well, is there a better day or well?
What's
They
kind
say
of
we
hard
have to
because
be on Thursday, right?
yeah. Hey James, you know what? You can always jump into the other group. You just got to send an email to somebody if that works
right.
for you. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, see here.
Well,
Here's the thing. On iLearn or whatever it is that we use now, Canvas, it says everything's due on the 12th, which is Saturday. Whether that's our group attendance, group discussion, and collaboration.
Yeah, don't worry about scheduling around me. Just do what's best for the group, and I will jump in if I can.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
because last week, James, we were talking about that too, and there was one guy, and I can't remember who that was, that he wanted to do a little bit early, and it didn't work for everybody. So we just stick to this hour. But
yeah, I think we'll just stick to this. We'll get who we get for it, I guess. Then.
Yeah.
Right, and group attendance each week is only like 5 points, so it's not gonna kill my grade.
Yeah, it's only 5
so.
points.
That's true.
Okay, so I'm not too stressed about it, so you guys don't have to worry about it either.
Okay, so Connor, next week then?
Yeah, I can do it.
Okay, perfect. So thank you guys. I'll answer this question tonight and I'll send it in. You don't have to send it in. I'll send it in and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you guys.
Sounds good, guys. Thank you. Have a great night and we'll see you
Question
next
for
week.
you guys. It says week 4 group discussion REST devices. There's something we have to submit. Is that what we
That's the question that I have to do, this one.
Okay. Well then what would be the oh, come on.
So I have to submit the question and I have to submit this link, this video that we're doing right now.
So then what would be the group assignment?
The question.
The question and then the video.
And then the video and then
at the end. Is that different?
This is the group discussion, the video that I got to send it in.
Okay.
Yeah. So the only thing you got to do, Connor, is I'll show you right now. The only thing you got to do for week 5, week 4.
It's just say that I was there.
That's it. And then the last thing,
And then the case. Okay.
Then that's it. But I'll take care of the rest. So.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Sounds good, guys. Thank you, guys, and have a great week.
Okay. You too.
Okay,
you too.